here at Jones AT&T Stadium in Lubbock. We made it, Sean. Buff Stampede squatted up for this game. We parked across the street. It was kind of blustery winds. Well, there you go. There you go. But it's not. I don't think it's going to have a big effect on this football game.
No. I think it's supposed to die down a little bit later, but I think inside the bowl here, it's pretty non-impactful.
So my first impression is it's a pretty aesthetically pleasing stadium here. First time in here. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with it. I have not been here before, so it's got it's a nice bowl stadium with the seats aren't stacked on top of one another, and it's got some pretty good characters. So I think it's a fun stadium. It's one of the better ones that I've been to in the Big 12.
There's enough time for folks to read your previews of this game, breaking down the Texas Tech offense and defense. I'm curious what your keys are to this game for Colorado based on that research that you put in.
I think it's pretty much the same keys that we've had every week, and it comes down to basic football, stopping the run and being able to run the ball, which is going to allow CU to really exploit the passing defense of Texas Tech. I think on the offensive side of the ball, Taj Brooks is, as he goes, so goes the Red Raiders, right? So it's being disciplined in the defensive front, being gap sound, and trying to slow down that running game. I don't know that you're going to stop it entirely, but if you can hold him below his season average and ideally keep him from setting the school rushing record against you, then I think that's a win. And then defensively, it's going to be tough to run the ball in the middle of the defense. I think it'll be a lot like Cincinnati, but if you can press the edges, get some runs off tackle, just enough to keep them honest, the secondary is really not very good, and I think there's a lot of opportunity to exploit them, and I think it'll be a pretty high-scoring game.
It does feel like this could be a game where Colorado skill talent offensively can feast. Is there a more Jekyll and Hyde team in this conference right now than Texas Tech?
I don't think so. I was, as much of a favor as it was for them to knock off Iowa State last week, I didn't see that coming at all, especially on the road. But yeah, it's a team that's there's quite a dichotomy on that team between their good performances and their poor performances. They've got some good athletes, especially on the offensive side of the ball, so they can explode at any point in time. I think for them the key is not only their rushing game, but it's what defense shows up.
All right, big game for Colorado. Any predictions? Have you thought about how today is going to shake out for the Buffs?
I really think it's going to be a high-scoring game, primarily from the – oh, there we go again.
It just adds to, I think, the flavor of what we're dealing with down here.
Especially from the Buff side, though. I would say 41-28 is maybe what I'm looking at. I think it's going to be a comfortable victory, but it's going to be one of those where, Texas Tech is going to score points.
All right, we made it here. And my thoughts are out with the folks that tried to get down here and couldn't. It was a brutal trek to get down to Lubbock. You hit a really good window coming out of town. I ended up spending 21 hours in a car, but I've got nothing against Lubbock right now because as I was pulling into the city yesterday, it was the first time I saw the sun since Tuesday. And so, hey, there's not a whole lot to do here in Lubbock, Texas, but right now, aside from the wind, it's not a bad spot to be.
No, absolutely. And that was actually the highlight of the trip. I didn't have it as rough as you did. It took me, I guess I just went into Amarillo on Thursday. It took me a good 7.5 hours, to get into Amarillo, which is a little longer than normal, but I hit that perfect window. But I'll tell you what, yesterday morning when I was driving down into Lubbock, you get about an hour south of Amarillo, and all of a sudden the clouds part, and there's blue skies and sunshine, and that makes up for all the struggles getting down.
All right, kickoff at AT&T Stadium soon.